Troy, back again on the bayou today, and today we're doing a comparison video. I've done those previously and they've went over pretty darn well. So today we're going to compare the Kastking Valiant Eagle 2 versus the Valiant Eagle 2 Pro model. So right here is the Pro model right here in my hand, and we are going to do a comparison on each one of those. I've done videos on each one respectively, but now I kind of really want to put it head to head here on the water itself, because to be honest, I've looked and I don't see anybody comparing the two out there, so I kind of want to do that. Now, granted, the Valiant Eagle has been out for a while now. I think I did my first video on that like 2 years ago. And even the Pro model has been out for several months now, which people have been doing some content on. But I really wanted to throw them head to head. I have fished with these a ton, so I can tell you a ton about the two. And spoiler alert, I love both of those. I love both of them. There is nothing that I don't like about both of them. I really do. Well, I can't say nothing. There are things that I would change about either of the two, but I fish with both of these reels all the time. And when I say all the time, I mean weekly. Like I'll be fishing 3 to 4 times a week, and I'll bring both of those. I have them on different rod and reel setups. So today, without getting into too much detail right now, they are both as identical as I can possibly get those. So they, like I said, are each one of the reel. They have 10-pound braided line from Kastking, same line, just different color. They have the same exact, I have a little bit of leader line attached to them, and they are attached to the same lure. And the lure that I have is the brand new Salty Ned Shrimp by Z-Man, and I have that on a jig head. And so that combined weight is a 3.7 gram lure, basically. I put those onto my scale, and they both come out to 3.7. So, and I have that on the same rod, which is the Ace Hawk CU double with the light tip on it, okay? And some of you might say, oh, why are you using that? You know, I'm like, well, the reason I'm using it, because one, I like it. Just straight up, I like that reel, the rod. I like the rod. I like it. I like it. I really like it. Plus, two, I have 2 of them. So in this situation, I can take that same rod and duplicate it, and I don't have to worry about changing out, you know, tying on new things, changing the reels. I just pick one up and go. That's what makes it nice. That's why. So again, they are as identical as possible. So here's the Valiant 2 original right there. So without doing too much, I want to go ahead and get each one of those out here and just show you a comparison of what we do. We may get on a fish. I'm here at the bayou by my house today. It's a warmer day out. We haven't had too many, I know you're gonna like say warm days, you know, being in Florida, but you know, it's been in the 50s here, which is cold for Florida. I know y'all have a bunch to say, but for Florida, that is cold. And it does also turn the fish off. As much as you may or may not want to hear it, that is the truth. So, but it's a warmer day today. We might get on something. Anyways, I want to thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you can stay up to date on all my latest content. I'm going to go ahead and start off by using the Kastking Valiant Eagle 2 original series. And I'll give you a little bit of details about this. It is a gear ratio of 8.4 to 1 ratio, which is the same ratio as the Valiant Eagle 2 Pro, but this one only has 7+1 bearings in it. Now, when I first got it, it was pretty smooth. I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever, and over the course of 2 years, I still don't have any issues with it. And right now, like I said, I'm in Florida. I'm in a bayou right now where this is brackish water, and I have fished saltwater, straight saltwater, brackish water, freshwater with this reel, and it is still going and going strong. So whenever I say the 7.1 bearings, these are double shielded bearings, so they are standing up against the time. And with this reel itself, I have, my biggest fish is a 31-inch cobia. Okay, it was in a previous video I posted on a speckled trout tournament I was in. I'll put a little picture right up here to show you that fish, but I have caught that on this reel, so it held up to big fish. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start casting this thing out here. And again, this setup, what I have here on the Ace Hawk setup isn't a traditional setup what I would use here in the brackish water, just because the fish tend to be bigger. So this light Ace Hawk rod isn't something I would generally use, but here in the bayou, I can certainly get away with it. So there's my first cast, and it is out there. And let me just say this. I ran into another fisherman here a couple minutes ago before I started filming, and he had a 3-inch swim paddle tail swim bait with a pretty big jig head on it. He was casting it, and I said, just for comparison, let me see how far you're casting. And I casted it basically just as far as him with this small 3.7 gram lure. And he looked at me, he was like, wow, I can't believe you are casting something that small as far as me. So I casted this thing probably about, I don't know, probably 60, 70 feet right now. It's out there. I mean, it's a good cast for anything that I'm targeting right now. For this size of lure, it is certainly within that range what I'm getting into. And let me just say, I am not the best unit of measure when it comes to judging feet and things like that. Sometimes my calculations are a little bit off. But let me go ahead and cast it again. So that is a good distance. And that's probably going to be a good 20, 25, maybe even 30 yards out there. So for this size of lure, it is casting it out there. Now, also with a bigger lure, like normally with these reels in these brackish waters, I'm throwing normally a 1/8 ounce jig head on a 3-ounce paddle tail, or 3-inch paddle tail. So it is getting out there considerably further. So with these reels, I'm also throwing bigger lures, not just these, finesse, ultra kind of small lures as well. So it is a very versatile reel, I will say that. And that goes for both of these reels, for sure. Let me just get another cast here. Let me show you. Hopefully, you may or may not see that. But that is out there quite considerably. I mean, like I said, for a small lure of this size and for this setup, you're not casting it much further no matter what setup you have, even a larger casting setup or a larger spinning setup. All right, let's give another cast here. And you can see I'm kind of using a side arm, 3/4 arm. I will overhand cast these sometimes, but I've got the space here to do it. And I like the motion of a 3/4 cast, especially here if it gets windy. To me, if you're fighting the wind, using casting gear against the wind isn't always a fun thing to do. But I find if you use a side arm, either a 3/4 arm, it kind of cuts the wind through a little bit better than an overhand, because you kind of just get overhand, you're getting more of an arc on it, so it's more that wind can knock it down. So that's generally the style that I do. Could there be improvements? Yeah, sure can. I will mention, okay, right now, this is the main thing I do want to mention. Right now, I'm casting this on a number 2 break, okay? So that's been the biggest complaint about this reel itself, is that it's overbraked, it's overbraked, it's overbraked. Okay, I will say it's overbraked. There were sometimes I was casting certain lures, like what was it, the micro Ned. I think I could get that down next to 0 brakes and cast it and still not have too much backlash. But I will say this, where it has came in handy is when I have been in windy settings and I needed that extra braking to help slow it down to combat that wind. I've been in areas like St. Louis, here out on the Gulf, just even regular lake days where it's been windy. And I find out that the extra braking does help. So right now it is on a level 2, and that's fine. Sometimes I can turn that down into about what's the next setting is about 1.5. I can get away with 1.5 sometimes. I don't generally have to go below that. I'm not sitting on the 0 braking. Some people, I have seen videos where they're like, this is on 0 brakes and it's still braking, so therefore it's over braked. Have I done it? Yes. Do I like to? No. To me, if you're going to have it on the zero brake, again, if you haven't seen my other videos, I generally like to let the reel do the work. So I don't really like to feather my thumb on the spool too much. So I am letting the reel do the work for me and leaving it at that level 2 brake, casting it out there, and not having to worry about feathering the spool. So I'll show you what I mean right now by casting this. Cast it out. My finger is completely off of that. Look at that. And I have a little bit of overrun at the very end. At the very end where I didn't put my thumb on it. Now, I'll put my thumb at the end to avoid that, but I didn't have to feather this. And this is still a nice cast out there. That is out there. That is exactly where I would want it to be. And that goes the same for the Pro model. Now, Kastking did adjust that braking system, so you do have to adjust the brakes higher. It's not significantly though. It's not like I gotta crank that all the way up. We'll get to that in just a minute. But again, this has the drag clicker on it. It is kind of a subtle drag clicker. It's better than some of the early model BFS stuff because those were real subtle. This has a decent sound to it. Not bad, but it's definitely not spinning sound. But oh, there's a bite. I got a bite right there, guys. Am I gonna get a fish? Oh, there's a bite. It might just be a really little silver perch or something, but there's something biting me. Oh, he was on the line there. What is it? Oh, he's right there. I see it. Could even be a pinfish. Like I said, I am fishing for, oh, there's a pinfish. I can see him in the water. It's just a small pinfish there coming to get me. That's the bad thing about fishing something small. You get some of the fish that you really don't want. But you also can get some nice sized stuff. I mean, I've caught some nice Jack Crevalles on these, you know, so it's kind of nice. One more cast. Again, really didn't thumb it except the end. It's out there. Like I said, I like to let the reels do the work. And I'm just gonna bring it right back in because like I said, I'm not really trying to catch anything today. I'm just trying to show you the difference between these two reels themselves. I'm gonna go ahead and hang this one up here, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab this one. So I'm also gonna show you this. The paint scheme is a little bit different. So this has kind of like a, I don't know what you call it, like a bronze, kind of like a burnt bronze color, and this one has more of a, more like a crimson kind of color with it. The bronze color was kind of cool when it came out, and it does have these red accents that are kind of nice. But it didn't, not that I really matter, or I really care, but yeah, it doesn't really match other rods and reels very nice. That's my only issue with that. But this more crimson, darker cherry red, it doesn't have any accents with it. It just has like the black handle with it. It just tends to go with more things. But let me go ahead and get into this one. Like I said, this is the Pro model reel right here. Like I said, it has the same 8.4 to 1 gear ratio. This one does have 11 to 1 double shielded bearings as well. So again, it's holding up over time. I've had it for a couple months now. It's casting really good, even in all types of waters. So let me go ahead and get one cast out here and show you the difference between the two, if there's really much of anything. So I'm casting it about the same distance. Like I said earlier, have the same pound test braid on here, same line, same lure and everything. The only thing difference is that right now I'm throwing this at a just shy of a 6 break. Okay, so it's about halfway up. So I'm sitting at about 50% break right now. There's other differences with the reel. You probably could tell that drag clicker is a lot louder than it used to be. And I like that. I like the loudness of the drag clicker. But all in all, I mean, you have bearings in the handles themselves, in a couple other places. It is a smooth reel. I really like the way it feels. Oh, is that a fish? No, I got something pecking at me here. But do I find a significance in the smoothness between the two. If I'm going to be picky, I'm going to say it's maybe strictly in the knobs themselves, because there's only bushings in the regular model and there's bearings in the Pro model. So, but as of the reel itself, it feels just about as smooth as the other one does. So I can't really be that picky on it. Let me see if I can dial this down to just over 5 now. Okay, so I did that. I did feel about a little bit of overrun on that one. So I am going to click that back up. But again, it's about the exact same spot as I was casting it. So I'm not really going to say that there's been, you know, a discernible difference between the casting of the two. So it's not like one cast better than the other. They are both, whoa, there's something coming after me. I'm getting bites. So maybe you want to come on there. Oh, is he on there? Oh, nope, came off again. That's the thing, these small fish.